What's up, everybody? All right, guys. So today, I know it's way too early. Spring training. We're only a couple weeks in, but I'm super excited. It's been a lot of fun. I've been trying to watch as many games as I can. I looked at the games and some of the stats that some of the players have put up so far this spring. And I know it's super early, but I thought it would be fun to do top 10 players this spring so far. And it's always interesting because players that are really hot have incredible numbers. And then of course players that have been cold are hitting zero. Again, obviously super early, and I get that, but thought it would be fun to do a breakout. And you never know, some of these guys might be breakout players for this year, and could be. Sometimes if you pay attention early in spring, it could be some indicators for the season. So before I get into that, of course, Blake Snell still hasn't signed. Thought for a while that he would sign with the Yankees, but unfortunately, I don't think at this point he will sign with the Yankees. I feel like the Yankees have been kind of out of contention for a while now. I was reading an article earlier that he says he wants to go to the Angels. So I guess we'll see where, Blake Snell, Jordan Montgomery are the two big starting pitchers that haven't signed. That's if you don't include this guy, Trevor Bauer, which I wish the Yankees would take a shot on Trevor Bauer. He was clearly innocent and set up. That's my opinion on the whole thing. Obviously made some mistakes, but I think he deserves a shot. And I think he if you were to rank the best starting pitchers that are out there, he's probably number one, let's be honest, ahead of Blake Snell, who you never know with Blake Snell. He doesn't strike out a lot of batters. And then Jordan Montgomery. I might take Trevor Bauer number one of those three starting pitchers, but we'll see. We'll see where those three players sign. Of course, Carlos Rodon the other day the Yankees are relying on Carlos Rodon to not suck, but he's got, they were saying no zip on the fastball and was getting crushed the other day by the Rays. It's just not a good sign, and again, you take everything in spring training with a grain of salt. You have players trying out new things. You might have Carlos Rodon trying out new pitches, but, for someone like him, you want to see him do something this spring, because otherwise I don't have a lot of confidence. I mean, he pitched to like a 7 ERA last year in the couple of starts that he made, and the Yankees are relying on him. Like, the Yankees need him. So anyway, some guys that have been hot so far this spring, some honorable mentions. Ellie De La Cruz. This is like an Invicta in an 8 for some reason. Spencer Jones, and I mentioned him in a previous video for the Yankees. You can see here he was a first round pick in 2022, 25th overall. I think the problem with Spencer Jones is the Yankees outfield right now is pretty stacked. Between Alex Verdugo and, you got Trent Grisham out there, obviously Juan Soto, Aaron Judge, Giancarlo Stanton. So, but who knows if the Yankees don't want to spend $700 million on Juan Soto, he could be an interesting option in 2025. And then, of course, you got Jason Dominguez coming back at some point. Another guy to keep an eye on that started off hot is Zach Gelof, one of the top Bowman prospects. Let's see. I thought I wrote his numbers down here somewhere, but I know that he started off really, really strong in the spring here, and round 2, 2021. He's an interesting player to keep an eye on a really bad Oakland Athletics team. Another call out to Mauricio Dubon, who's having a nice spring. Jackson Chourio is another guy. Obviously, I mentioned him a lot on this channel. One of the favorites. Obviously, Yamamoto is going to be your Rookie of the Year favorite, but Jackson Chourio's got to be right up there. And he's starting off the spring hot. He's already got 10 hits, which I think is tied for third of spring training players. Of course, 10 hits. Super young, even in the spring training season, but definitely a good start for Jackson Chourio. Mookie Betts, as usual, just doing his thing. The Dodgers are insane. I was thinking between Freddie Freeman, Ohtani, and Mookie Betts. I mean, those are the three of the best players in baseball. Mookie Betts is hitting .409 this spring, so not a bad spring for him. Speaking of Freddie Freeman, this guy, despite the fact that I think he's only hitting like 270, is leading all of spring training, all of the Major League Baseball teams in RBIs, and he's hitting like 270. Freddie Freeman, even if he doesn't have a great year, he's probably going to drive in like 140 runs for the Dodgers, something crazy like that. So it's going to be a big year for the Dodgers, obviously. Some other big names to call out before I get into my top 10. James Woods, who I've mentioned many times on this channel, is looking really good. 3 home runs, one of the bigger prospects. Colton Cowser for the Baltimore Orioles is having a nice spring. Let's see, he's batting 400, 3 home runs, 7 RBIs, 1550 OPS. So a really nice spring for Colton Cowser. I mean, that Orioles team is just stacked. I mean, if you can get someone like Colton Cowser to have a big year, with Gunnar Henderson and Jackson Holliday and Adley Rutschman, I mean, that's going to be a stacked lineup this year. So, and Cowser could be a very interesting dark horse for the team. Anyway, getting into 10 players that have started off the spring really hot, and like I said, take it with a grain of salt, but my man Ke'Bryan Hayes, remember this guy, Charlie Hayes' son? So rooting for him just because I'm a Yankees Charlie Hayes fan. So Ke'Bryan Hayes, he's been one of those guys, doesn't hit for a lot of power, but his batting average is usually up there. But so far this spring, he's batting 368, which is obviously really good. 3 home runs, 7 RBIs, and a 1295 OPS. So definitely a guy on that really bad Pirates team to keep an eye on. At number 9, this is another Pirates player, another really interesting player to keep an eye on. So this guy, Henry Davis. I don't know if you guys remember Henry Davis, but let's see on the back. Yeah, he was the first overall selection for the Pirates in 2021. So the number 1 player selected. And he's been, for the most part, a pretty big bust for the Pirates. And this could be, he's an interesting player because he's having a big spring, 333, 3 home runs, 8 RBIs, 1214 OPS, making a push to make the team as the catcher. And if I'm the Pirates, why not? Like, give the guy a shot. Like, he was your number 1 overall pick in 2021. And, if this is an interesting player, if you want to take a flyer on like a high-end Henry Davis, card, you probably get for super cheap. And if he starts off the year hot, his cards could soar. Obviously, don't go crazy buying Henry Davis cards, but it's an interesting flyer. You get some high-end Henry Davis cards in case he gets super hot. Michael Harris is having a nice spring. He's batting 400, 3 home runs, 5 RBIs, 1378 OPS. The Braves are looking like they're going to have another great year, and Michael Harris will probably be in the middle of that. So great to see him batting 400. The next guy, I think we're at number 7. I didn't even know who he was until I looked into this, but this guy, Angel Martinez, and somehow I was able to dig up, this guy plays for the Guardians. I was able to dig up that I actually have his pro debut auto somehow, but he is batting this spring 529, 2 home runs, 6 RBIs, 1644 OPS. Definitely a guy to keep an eye out for. Obviously, I'm sure you can get his cards super cheap. Most people probably have never heard of him before. I think he's around 22, 23 years old, so still kind of young, but just an interesting player to keep an eye on for the Guardians. Like I said, batting 529 this spring. Number 6, how about Francisco Alvarez? At one point was one of the top prospects in baseball, and the Mets, I'm sure, have some pretty high hopes for him. This is his rookie card, and this is a pretty cool Stadium Club Prism, I think. He's batting 357, 3 home runs, 5 RBIs, 1571 OPS. So pretty awesome start to spring training for Francisco Alvarez. So definitely a guy to keep an eye on for the Mets. Next up, Mitch Haniger. I was able to dig up this Bowman Sterling auto. Always a really, really good player. And again, having a nice spring, batting .444, 1768 OPS. I think he had the highest OPS of any player that, had more than 10 at bats. I discounted guys that had 2 at bats and had an insane OPS. But not bad. .444 batting average and a 1768 OPS for Mitch Haniger this spring. At number 4, not a surprise, Ohtani. What else is new? Ohtani this spring. I mean, it's like he doesn't even need to try. He's hitting .583 this spring. And I know it's early, but I mean, it's ridiculous. How good Ohtani is. OPS of 1667. And in that lineup with Freddie Freeman and Mookie Betts, I mean, it's ridiculous. It's going to be a ridiculous season. Obviously, he is going to just be a hitter this year. No pitching for Ohtani unless maybe, in the playoffs, maybe. But if I'm the Dodgers, I'm playing it. I just paid $700 million or whatever it was, almost $1 billion for Ohtani. I'm probably going to play it safe this year and just let him DH, but we'll see what happens. 583 for spring training for Ohtani. At number 3 is, of course, my man Juan Soto. It's been doing fantastic, looks fantastic in the pinstripes. Batting .467, 3 home runs, 7 RBIs, 1729 OPS. He's been fantastic for the Yankees. I feel like every time he's up, he's crushing the ball. It's going to be tough. It's going to be a very tough call for the Yankees. They're going to see how good he is. He's always a guy that gets on base. Forget about the power and his batting average, which actually wasn't that great last year. But he gets on base like crazy. So if he can, hit home runs, hit doubles in the center of that Yankees lineup, it's going to be a big year for my man Juan Soto. And it's going to be. And there's been talks lately that the Mets are going to try to sign him. I don't like that at all. Number 2, I'm very excited to say this. Eloy Jimenez at number 2. Eloy Jimenez is batting .520 this spring, is leading all of major leagues in hits. I don't think I wrote down how many hits he has, but I believe he's leading all of baseball in hits so far. Has a home run, 9 RBIs, and is batting .1258. So it'd be fantastic to see Eloy finally have a healthy season. I know he is, when I hit this card, this is a Sapphire to 10. When I hit this card, it was a huge hit. But since then, he's just been getting hurt. He can't stay healthy. And it would be incredible to see Eloy have what can he do with a healthy season? So it'll be very, maybe a good buy low candidate, especially if he's healthy this year. And then at number 1, and you guys know I had to do this, but number 1, I think who's having the best spring so far, and again, I said it before and I'll say it again, I know it's super duper early, but my man Miguel Andujar, playing for the Oakland Athletics, is batting .435. He's got the most home runs so far in spring, 4 home runs. I know it's only 4. 10 RBIs. He's got a 1415 OPS. And he's got a stolen base to add to that. Miguel Andujar, the interesting thing is if you look at the projected lineup for the pathetic Oakland Athletics, he's not even in the projected lineup right now. If you go to Roto, whatever. But hopefully he's making his case to play for the Oakland Athletics this year and have a full-time role. I'd love to see what Andujar could do with little pressure, starting in the lineup every day, which is something that he can, had a difficult time with the Yankees. He's always had issues with defense, which has always kind of set him back. But if he keeps hitting like this, they're going to have to start him. So anyway, that is my top 10 so far. Maybe I'll do another one as we get towards the end of spring, so we can kind of see who ends with the best stats in spring. And then, we'll have a good idea as to maybe, I always find it interesting now, with this advice, is that advice to buy or sell? I don't know. It's interesting, like, for some of the guys like Miguel Andujar and Zach Elof and Francisco Alvarez, maybe it's a time to buy. But maybe for some of the bigger names, a good time to sell. Who knows? But also, just wanted to mention, I've been having a lot of fun. I haven't picked up a big card in a while, but if you guys, I might do a video on this. Heritage Auctions has an incredible auction happening right now, and I might go through that because there's so many great cards. I just got outbid on the 94. I'm trying to bid on that 94 Upper Deck, one of the coolest cards of all time. The 94 Upper Deck Griffey and Mantle card. And I was, right before this video, I click record, I was outbid on that card. It's been every one of these auctions, they're a lot of fun, but I can never seem to win an auction. But it's got another week or so, or maybe even more than that, before the auction ends. I might do like a quick video on that because there's some awesome cards that are in that Heritage auction. So anyway, hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know if there's a guy that I didn't mention, that is killing it this spring. Would be interested to hear your thoughts. Who you guys investing in this spring? All right. Thanks, guys, for watching, and I will talk to you later. Peace.